Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. When we moved into this home a couple of years ago, in our living area, Sheila consciously bought a rug with lots of colors on it. Such rugs are good for hiding stains. And recently, Vyasa was playing with some Lego downstairs, and he couldn't find a piece. So he stood up and stood back and found it. And he told Sheila, when you stand up and stand back, you can see things more clearly. And that's what we do in Meaningful Mornings, correct? We wake up and then stand back. We try to have a different perspective on our life, certainly our day. Prince Arjuna is now a disciple. He feels there's a choice between dharma and adharma, which is why he's confused. When we establish that there is no choice, then there's no confusion. There's no problem then. And you will find throughout our study of Gita, the idea, the teaching of prasada buddhi, which means the vision of choiceless cheer. We don't have a choice, so let us be cheerful. In the last verse, our analysis was on time and our relationship with time. Scientifically, time is the measurement of change. Time is the measurement of change. When we analyze existence, or sat, this preceded time. Shared differently, there has to be an entity to change for time to have relevance. So the entity comes before time. I'm only using a different term, existence or sat. The implication is you, not your body, rather your spirit, whose nature is existence, is deeper than time, is beyond time. And this means your nature will not change. Your nature will not die. And when you know your nature, you become fearless. No change, no death, no fear. This teaching is shared in an example in verse 13. Chapter 2, verse 13. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptihi dhirastatra na muhyati. The first quarter. Yatha means like. There's a comparison that's going to be narrated. Asmin dehe, dehinaha, in this body, Vivek's body, your body, there is a entity which is called the ego. Okay, so this is being established first, so that we have a complete picture. And right now, this is being shared simply. We still have many hundreds of verses to get into more detail. You are the spirit. The word I've been using is Atma. Now another entity is being emphasized, and that is the ego. We've used the term ahankara. And the third term is the body or deha. Clear? Your nature is the spirit. In between is the ego. And all of this is as if contained in the body. So body, ego, spirit. Kaumaram, I'm in the second quarter. Kaumaram means experiencing being a child. Yauvanam, experiencing being someone who's young, a youth, a young adult. And Jara, experiencing being old. In Swami Chinmayananda's commentary, he's used the word old age. Some commentaries are quite harsh. They've described Jara as decrepitude. I hope I'm not going to become decrepitude. And the idea is the ego goes through being a child and a youth and an older person, goes through these, but the ego doesn't change, correct? When Vivek was in high school, the Vivek that's now out of high school is the same Vivek. I remember when I was in high school, I remember now, and I'll remember when I'm old. The implication in this first line is that the body is changing, not the ego, and definitely not the spirit. One more insight about getting older. Being a child comes and goes. Being a teenager comes and goes. Being a young adult comes and goes. Being an adult comes and goes. Being old comes and stays. Correct? Where does it go? One just becomes deeper into that old age. So this is the comparison. And now making this more relevant or relatable. Tata. Dehandara praptihi. This ego goes through different bodies. Just like one ego goes through different bodies in a lifetime, child, young adult, adult, in the same way, the ego goes through different bodies. Vivek is body 1, my next lifetime will be body 2, my lifetime after that will be body 3. This is what Sri Krishna is teaching Prince Arjuna. The further philosophy of this, I'd shared with all of you, the spirit or Atma, the idea of change does not apply. Birth, death, any sense of change does not apply to the spirit. As for the ego moves from body to body to body, doing what? The noble purpose of the ego is to learn that it's not the body, rather is the spirit. And for the body, the word deha, which in Sanskrit means body, means that which is ever burning. True? Every day, this body burns more. A couple of days ago, as we were helping the kids go outside, in the sunbeam, there are some dust particles. And I was explaining to Vyasa, a lot of this is our skin cells. And he goes, ew, gross. Then he started grabbing it and putting it back on his body. Vyasa, what are you doing? I'm putting my skin cells back. So scientific. But my point is, it's burning, correct? How many of our cells just keep on burning up, whether we know it or don't know? Tatra, therefore, dhiraha, those who are authentic and deep, those who are disciples, na muhyati, they do not grieve. The earlier word was na anushochati, meaning they don't have sorrow. Here, na muhyati means they don't have moha or confusion. Sri Krishna will keep flowing through these words. No confusion, no fear, no sorrow. Summarizing this again. When you were a child, when you became a teenager, did it hurt you mentally? Physically, there may have been some pain due to puberty, etc. But it was a seamless transition, correct? And the same you at 10 years old is the same you at 50 years old. So Shri Krishna is analyzing this lifetime in this body and now extrapolates. This has happened now. The same will happen in the future. The body's always changing. The ego is to learn that it's not the body, and it requires fresh bodies, which means fresh opportunities to learn. When you travel, don't you feel fresh and you learn lots? Try it. Stay in your room all day. Stay in your room all week. And you're all disciples, so you'll be, that's awesome. We'll learn so much. But generally, we will not, correct? So when we take up another body, this is fresh body, fresh opportunity. And it's a blessing that we don't remember our previous body. Suppose you remember your last body. Which parents are real then? Your present parents or your past parents? They'd fight with each other. Pandavas and Kauravas, correct? It is a blessing that we don't remember the details, but understand we do remember the general learning. Do you remember what you learned in first year of college? You don't, the specifics, but in general, you've become a better person. That stays with you. So Prince Arjuna, don't grieve. The body was born to die. The ego is to keep on learning, and yours is definitely learning since you're a disciple. And as for the spirit, not applicable. Awesome for a Monday morning. What else will you listen to or read that will be more moving? That you're infinite. And there are many more verses that will elaborate on this. If you didn't get this one, there's another one. If you didn't get the next one, there's another one. At 700, we'll stop though, okay? There's nothing else after that. From inspiration to application, your recent application was to feel that you have no choice. How many of you tried? If you have no choice, why would you feel sad? You have no choice, why not be happy? Choiceless cheer. The idea of choice is quite illusory for us. Here's your application for this morning. I want you to count the number of things you do for your body. Like when one hires an attorney, they charge you for that stamp, correct? They charge you for that staple and that fax and that email. I want you to count everything you do for the body. Okay, imagine the body is a client and you're the attorney. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.